should be working now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the election night coverage. You're here when you could probably be somewhere else, um, else this street, but we're going to have a lot of fun. These things are always a lot of fun to watch. I always, if nothing else, I just like the horse race aspect of it. It's a lot of fun to just kind of sit back and watch the numbers roll in. As, as it goes, it's kind of like playing a gotcha game or something like that. It's a gotcha game, except you're not paying directly. They're just taking your money through taxes, I guess, or so. I don't know where I was going with this, but that's the case. Hey, Ray, do you want to watch the election with me? Here. Stupid cat. Okay. I'm sure Ray will come by and say hi later on in the evening. So let's take a look at what's been going on with this and that. I just like to start off by saying that we here on this channel, this whole election is 100% above board. I don't think there's any shenanigans going on. I don't even think there's any errors. I don't think that there's a single person who misvoted this time. I don't think there's a single person who like spilled some coffee or spilled some Mountain Dew on their ballot paper. I don't think there's a single person who checked the wrong thing. There wasn't some blind person who had a stroke or whatever. I think it's 100% above board, every single aspect of this. So I just like to start out that with, and if people question that, I'm going to have to start banning people in chat. Now, I am a little confused because I'm told that democracy was on the ballot. And I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like metaphorical or not. Because if it's like metaphorical, then I guess it's okay. But if they're saying that, oh, okay, well, just tell me and I'll turn up my mic. There we go. It's just not that it is. So the expectations are pretty high for the GOP this time. There was a mixture of, let me just see if I can, I'm just trying to find like can I just get a map? Can I just get like a map of the country? With the Senate races. Can I get something? Whatever. Anyways, so there's a lot of states up this time that were very competitive, and obviously at the moment the Senate is, I believe, 50-50, with the Democrats having a majority by virtue of Kamala Harris being the deciding vote. So the Republicans really just need to pick up a net of one seat, and then they will gain control of the Senate. So let's see here. 270 to win. Okay, let's see 271. 272. That's electoral votes. Oh, there we go. Election results. Yeah, so the thinking is that the Republicans are probably, and this is just from people I've been following, are going to pick up. Oh, it's not letting me. Okay, it doesn't let you change it. That's kind of lame. But the Republicans are going to pick up Nevada, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire. New Hampshire is possible. I try Georgia and Arizona are the ones that a lot of people are saying that they're probably going to pick up. Personally, I think Nevada and Pennsylvania are pretty much guaranteed at this point. Assuming that the high quality of elections that we've come to expect continues. You know, it's interesting what what they were saying on I forget who this was. Maybe I think this was USA Today. Let me just bring up my channel. ABC News: a red mirage or an artificial GOP lead will likely occur Tuesday. Um, so early election night results might not indicate final vote tallies. So here's the thing. In Now I'm a Canadian. I have never in my life had an election that wasn't decided like decisively on the night of. I don't know if I've ever had an election where they don't count it within 2 hours of the polls closing. Uh, yeah, I don't think it's within 2 hours of the polls closing. I just can't think of like any instance of something similar to this. And I was looking at other countries, like Brazil was able to get their results in like a couple hours. France was, and France has like territories all over the world. Italy, a country that is a byword for corruption and incompetence, was somehow able to get their election done. Israel was able to get their election done. I was trying to look at third world countries. Uh, it was hard to find third world countries. Once again, I'm not saying that it's not properly. I'm just saying in terms of how long it takes to count the votes. Like it was hard. I think Pakistan was the closest I could find. Some of them are confusing because in some third world countries where there's a lot of uh like they'll have the polls open for like a couple weeks. So it's hard for me to tell because I was looking at the Congo and I think they have their polls open for like 2 weeks or something. Um, but I think Pakistan took about as long. New Guinea took longer, and India took longer. But India has like a really weird electoral system that just takes forever. So, but it's just bizarre. I like it's. I was also trying to do a search just today when I was supposed to be working for countries that didn't have voter ID laws. So, as far as I can determine, every country in the developed world, with the exception of the United Kingdom until last year, Australia and Denmark, I think, have voter ID laws. Those countries do not have voter ID laws, or they aren't enforced, or it's just kind of weird. But yeah, so we're calling some house races. House races are always hard just because there's so many of them, so I never really know um, how I'm going to track them exactly. So Vermont obviously went blue. I don't think anyone was expecting it to not go blue. I wish that they would give us like what the uh, live results are. I guess they're just some of these states there hasn't been any results in yet. While we're here, though, I think I'll share what I think is the this is my what can I do my I'm gonna do my map for oh no does this one not allow you to do give me a second um custom. I'm just trying to see one if see if there's a presidential map that has like tilt and lean because most of them are just are don't have that degree of flexibility. It's just red blue. Let me see here. Okay. Let's see here. Hmm. I can't find one. If anyone knows a election, check the top tabs on 270. Okay, president. 2024 Electoral College. Where's custom? Yeah, it doesn't have lean or tilt or anything like that. I'm just trying to find one that does that. It just okay. Sorry, this is very professional. I'm a professional election streamer. Um, it's what I do for a living. Yeah, no, I can't find one. Um, so let me see here. So I think I made a copy of this and emailed it to myself. What I thought that the 2022 elections will be. Okay. Or sorry, 2024. Assuming that Trump is running, because I don't really know who else it would be at this point in time, other than Trump. I mean, realistically, who else would it be? I guess the only thing is if Trump doesn't run, it's because he's like physically incapable of running. So he probably will. Okay, so here we go. Let me see if I can bring this up. So here is my election map. Oh no, that's not the one I wanted to show. Here's the electoral map I made for 2024 with toss ups. Um, oh, there is. Okay, one second. This is. Oh wow. Okay, that's cool. All right. Okay, there we go. Thank you for that. So I think in 2024, I think Nevada is going to go tilt Republican in 2024. I think it's going to be by a couple points. The Nevada Democratic Party has more or less collapsed, and I think it's gone from being a lean blue state to being either a pure toss up or tilt R. For those of you who aren't aware, what wound up happening in I think it was this year or last year, is the Democratic Socialists of America took over the Democratic Party in Nevada. And the Nevada is a fairly moderate state. And so the Democrats more or less collapsed. I think like the mayor of Cook County switched sides and it was just a disaster. So I think that's going to be tilt. I think Wisconsin is leaner. Um, I don't think it's really competitive at all. I don't think Texas is competitive. I don't think Florida is competitive. Um, I do think, and this will depend on a lot if Mastriano wins or not. I do think that Pennsylvania is tiltar at the moment. But once again, that will very much depend upon uh, how voting laws turn out. I don't think New Hampshire is competitive. I think it's a blue state. Ohio is like a safe R. I don't even know why they have it as a toss up. Um, it's like impossible to know. I'm gonna put Georgia as tilt blue. I think it's gone, and I don't think it's coming back. I think North Carolina will go R. Um, I don't know enough about how Maine works, to be honest. Uh, I always find it confusing, just because it has that special snowflake thing. I think it's Maine's second, isn't it? That is fairly Trumpish. I don't remember, to be honest. But we'll just do that. Um, Michigan, I think it will depend who wins the governor's race, but I think that's going to be Tilt D. And I do think that the tipping point state for the country will probably be Arizona. And depending on how the governor race goes, I think Arizona's tilt red at the moment. So that's how I think it's probably going to go. Uh, I think if you were to like not include states that I have basically that I have no confidence in whatsoever, this would be gray. This would be gray. Um, that I think. I still think Pennsylvania tilts are in a upcoming, especially with the Biden presidency. Here's the question: will Biden run for re-election? Because he claims he's going to run for re-election, but I don't know. Oh wait, did I not click on Iowa? Oops. Oh, okay. That's my bad. If I missed Iowa, I just probably didn't see it. Apologies to the great state of Iowa. No, Iowa is safer. Um, oh, oops. My bad. Wait a minute, which one was I? Oh, I'm a professional. No, Iowa's safer. That's my bad. Um, See, I think Trump needs to pick up one of these. Uh, Georgia, Arizona, or Michigan. I actually don't even really think that Wisconsin is like a swing state. I think it's gonna go like 5 to 7 probably for Trump. So yeah, it's gonna be close. It's what 270 to win. I don't know. They could still win. Like if they gerrymander properly, they could just win by getting Nevada, Nebraska's district, or I guess Maine. So we'll see though. Let's see if there's any results that are in at the moment. Wyoming. Wait a minute. Is this? Oh no, that's prime. Why is it showing primary? I don't want to see primary. I want to see the actual results of these Senate races. This map is so ugly. Like I can't even. I mean, it's the Guardian, so I can't really complain. But okay, USA Today's looks awful. Um, no, this is prime. Why are they showing primaries? I don't understand. Okay, let's see here. They called South Carolina. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to find like a decent. I guess this one looks okay. Although I think somebody said that 270 to win had a decent one. That is House. Let's look at Senate. Yeah, but it doesn't say like what the live vote total is. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So this one at least seems to be kind of on point with that. The Google map for elections. Okay. Um, Where is the Google map for elections? Um, I don't know. I don't see one. Hopefully, one of these sites will have one that's not complete garbage. Because most of these seem like they're complete shit. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Who is this? 11 Alives actually looks pretty good. Okay. All right, here we go. So, South Carolina's been called for Tim Scott. Some of these they've not started counting yet, obviously. Vermont is going. I think New Hampshire actually got pretty competitive in the last couple days. So we'll see how that's going to go. Washington was closer than anyone thought it was going to be, although I still think that'll probably go for the blue team. Michigan, I don't think was up. Michigan is up for governors, I think. Unfortunately, what's her name? Gretchen Whitmer will probably win re-election. But I guess the other thing to see is how much the Republicans pick up in the House as well. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see, cartographic, geographic. It's kind of interesting. Remember, guys, Rubio is Florida's a swing state. I mean, I've been seeing that for a long time. That Florida's a swing state. It's going to be really, really close. Um, Rubio's in danger of losing. Oh, right. I need to go to Google. Okay. This is in Brave, so I have DuckDuckGo as my default search. Um, no, but I saw Cope. Like people were saying, oh, it's a tot. Rubio's like in real danger of losing. Was some of the stuff I was seeing, but I mean that's obviously not the case. Be back in one sec. I just have to grab my laundry. All right, there we go. So we're back. Let's see where we are at the moment. Show all states. Okay, so Rand Paul looks like he's won re-election. That's good. I don't agree with Rand Paul on everything, but he's one of the better senators. Let's see. I don't know. Georgia, like, I've heard Herschel Walker's probably going to win. The thing, though, is that it looks like mostly only Atlanta's in at the moment, and a couple of the Democrat heavy areas. Okay, so if I'm not low energy enough, maybe I'll start taking callers. So let's see here. All right, so if you just want to message me on Discord, I will send you a link to AS or Argent stream server. I was gonna have Serp on. I can't have Serp on because he might question the narrative that great and benevolent YouTube has decided to give to us. So there we go. I messaged Fritz, if you're listening, I sent you a link to the stream server. So let me just go in. Let's see here. Okay, so if anyone else just wants to message me on Discord, then I'll let you in, and we can get some callers to discuss this because I'm feeling really low energy. I don't know. I've been like sick for the last couple days or something. Fortunately, it's not COVID. Yeah, I just don't know if he'll want. I'll ask him if he wants to come on, but he might not want to. I don't think he's around at the moment. Oh no. Oh no, he is. Hmm. Well, that sucks. There we go. We'll fix that. All right. Let's see here. So yeah, as I said, yeah, I got a strike because of a video from last year. Actually, it's kind of sad, but I mean, it is what it is. If anyone's wondering about how I'm doing, I'm liking living in Western Canada. I guess because I'm from Ontario, initially we consider Manitoba to be Western Canada, but it's a nice place. People are very friendly here. Um, it's not too bad a city to live in. I think how it works is there's Portage, which goes through the center of Winnipeg, and if you live on the northern side of it, it's shit, and if you live on the southern side of it, it's not bad. I think it's like that for a lot of cities. I'm not sure if it's always the north that's shitty, though, or it's sometimes the south, but there's often a river. Where am I at? Yeah, I live in Winnipeg at the moment. Moved here a couple months back from Toronto. Don't they call Winnipeg Murder Peg? Yeah, but I can afford like a nice one bedroom apartment here for like less than what a closet would cost me in Toronto, so there is that. I think it's just a matter, it's like anywhere. You just don't want to live in the shitty areas. Like in Toronto, you have Rex Jail and Jane and Finch and Regent Park and some like other really shitty areas, but as long as you stay out of those, you're probably okay. Hello? Oh, hey man. Hello. Oh, I don't know. Looks like Fritz has had some issues. You on now? Oh, there we go. Okay. Can you hear? Oh, okay, right. Sorry. Let me just change this because I have push to talk on
Okay,
Discord.
hear me. Hey,
Okay, there we go. I
sorry,
have push to talk on
my voice might not.
Discord.
Oh,
So
how do I do that? Or
no, I had it on so you couldn't
oh,
hear
okay.
me. Uh
How do I? I'd like to turn it on too.
oh, I turned it off just so that I have it the same on both. But Yeah, some people are asking about moving to Detroit. Now, one of my former bosses, and on, I'm always glad to see you streaming. I've been watching since 2017. Thanks, man. That means the world to me. God bless. I'm serious about that. It really means a lot. Thanks, man. Um, yeah. So you should watch the Cleveland tourism videos if you're looking for a safe and economically prosperous U.S. city to move into. I mean, I don't think Winnipeg's as bad as those places. Like it's bad, but it's not that bad. So,
I'm thinking of visiting Savannah, Georgia this summer. So
hmm
sorry if I can't talk all that much. I'm just recovering from the flu.
like the coof or just normal flu.
No, no, just the flu that's going around. I was kind of hallucinating for a little bit, but
Yeah, like so it was funny because I've been getting into kind of playing StarCraft 2 ranked online, and I just lost like every like 10 games in a row on Saturday. And I'm like, oh wait, I'm losing, so I have like the flu and I'm going through a bipolar switch on the same
mhm.
day. So that was not a pleasant day. So
I've been having a similar thing where so I've been having a roller coaster over time job wise where for a while I was like, man, I need a different job and I need one that pays more money. So I got one that like but the problem is that the commute and basically outside of the pay, everything else was worse. So now I'm coming back to my old job after less than a month at a different place. But so I'm just trying to figure out like financial stuff. But they are giving me a raise at the old place. So
yeah, my new job is a 1 year contract. The problem is, and I'm sure a lot of people in chat have experienced this, most places nowadays have a 3 to 6 month trial period where they can fire you at any time, and you don't get vacation days, sick days, or
yeah,
uh,
I had that too.
yeah, that kind of thing. Um,
It actually makes some amount of sense though because a lot of places now just people get hired on and then like quit immediately. I know I'm not one to talk considering what I've just done, but like the last place that I was at was like a year and a half or like yeah, it was like a year and a half and actually I really liked that job because I was just thinking like man, I miss my desk. I miss big comfy air conditioned quality control lab. I miss my work laptop and all that as opposed to the new place where everything is done old school, written down in this tiny, cramped, little awful QC lab. And it's, but yeah, I'm gonna finish out this week and then start my new one or start my old job again next
well, it
week.
just sucks because I don't get any sick or vacation days until like March. So I'm gonna go back to
Mm-hmm.
Ontario to spend Christmas with my family. So I had to just take like
Mm-hmm.
5 unpaid days, and you don't really realize how much you make a day until you start not getting paid for them. So
Yeah, like, I lost. Basically, I just got out of this like with a week because I took a week off between quitting that job and then starting the new one, and now I kind of regret doing that. But it's like, yeah, my money isn't doing that well, but I don't want to leave my apartment right now because number one, the lease doesn't run out till next year, and also number two, the heat's included. So, given how things are going that way,
yeah, so I
but
don't get electric. They included high speed internet with mine, which is weird, but
mhm.
it's actually pretty good. So we have someone from Pennsylvania. Their mother couldn't vote because there wasn't enough paper. Yeah, I heard about that. Now obviously I'm sorry, dude. I'm gonna have to say that you're lying. There was no irregularities. There was no problems, because we don't even like. You aren't even allowed to say like we're not even like you're not like okay. So let's just pretend that there's no fraud. I mean, obviously there isn't ever, but you aren't even allowed to say like people made innocent mistakes. um like that, like people made mistakes, like they mailed something to the wrong address or they dropped like a box of votes or something like that. um which I find interesting, and I find it interesting that they put that down like for election. I think they did that for the Brazilian election before it even happened. They were like, you can't say there was any irregularities. But I'm gonna say this. It's impressive that the smoothest election in American history was held during COVID.
Hmm. It's really quite a tantamount to democracy, right? I mean,
Like you would think there would have been more problems, but there was fewer. There was fewer.
hmm
Let me see where's
I
Ray.
mean, I mean, I'm. It reminds me of a few years prior. Then, a wonderful presidential election in Austria where, the what Van der Bellen, the Green Party candidate, won the election because there was a surprise 30,000 good, liberal Austrian patriots that mailed in their votes. Just it's great, right?
Now I don't know if this is covered or not, but Lula being able to run. Okay, let's. I guess I can say that Lula being able to run at all. Let's be honest, was because the Supreme Court of Brazil didn't like Bolsonaro, because he had been like barred from
Mm.
running because of corruption charges. So the Supreme Court obviously reversed them, so we could take down
Hmm.
Bolsonaro.
I think he should have just been barred from running because he was left wing.
Well, yeah, but my point
But
is
yeah, yeah.
they changed the legal system. I mean,
Hmm.
like in the case of Brazil, I actually would not be surprised if Lula didn't just win, like and there was.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously there was no shenanigans, but I would not be surprised if there was no shenanigans because Lula is super popular in Brazil and always has been.
Hmm.
Um, my
Oh,
problem with
I've got a.
sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Uh, well, I like a lot of things about Bolsonaro. My issue with just a lot of people like him is their environmental policies. Um,
Hmm.
they have a very like rape and pillage of the environment thing,
Hmm.
which I really dislike.
Yeah, it's hard because I don't know this isn't really much of a surprise, but it's it's hard trying to balance out wanting to actually help prevent mass ecological disaster, but also not completely collapse the economy. But at the same time, yeah, like protect rainforests and protecting habitats is really important. Oh, I have a fun weeaboo story to tell you about how the boomers that are at the workplace where I currently am, like they have an Alexa and they like to listen to classic rock and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
someone was like, he said Alexa play this song and he didn't know who sung it. Thought it was like Neil Young or Neil Diamond or something. But I guess there was like also a song by Hatsune Miku, pop Japanese pop sensation Hatsune Miku of Vocaloid. Uh, One of her songs just started playing, so I had to explain to a 60-year-old boomer what Hatsune Miku and Vocaloid is.
Well, for me, it's like Google Plus. Sorry, or Google whatever it is. Is it Google Assistant? I don't know. Whatever the Google thing always goes off because whenever I see Ray and I say, "Hey, girl," and
Mm.
then it thinks that I'm saying, "Hey, Google." Speaking of
I don't
which,
really have any of that, but
yeah, it literally just went off when I said that. Second.
hmm. Oh yes, how is your little kitty?
Okay, here we go. Just
Hmm.
went to get Ray.
How is Rain?
She's doing good. She's been pretty
She's adjusting
affectionate.
to her new life.
Yeah, she's been pretty affectionate lately. I don't know if it's just cold and she likes my lap, but she's been pretty
Hmm.
happy.
Yeah, my dog that lives at my parents' house, like he's anytime I go and visit my parents, he does not want me to leave. Like he will constantly like put his like head on my lap and just demand that I pet him. He does the cutest thing where he'll like if you're petting him, he's sitting down, and if you stop, he'll just tilt his head all the way up because he wants you to pet him more.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very cute golden retriever.
No, but she's doing good. I'm gonna bring her back to Ontario when I go to visit my parents. It actually
Mm-hmm.
costs like $50 to bring your pet on the plane each way,
Mm-hmm.
but paying for someone to take care of your pet is more expensive. So
Mm-hmm.
I have some kitty downers I'll give her. So
Speaking of downers, I'm gonna go grab a beer. I'm not gonna get drunk. Don't worry. I have work tomorrow anyway.
yeah, I do too. Although now I can walk to work. That was one of the reasons I decided to move across the country. Because I was commuting like 3.5 hours a day total in Toronto. So now my commute's like 15 minutes. So it's it's pretty nice. That's I mean honestly it was worth moving just for that. Only issue is I'm not really near a grocery store, but PC Express is pretty good. So such is life, such is life. Uh, so someone asked me a question. Why do all pretty Japanese women look like clones? Like I cannot tell them apart. It's a good question. It's a good question. Um, I don't know. Something to do with Buddhism and reincarnation, I guess. Oh, let's see. U.S. House. No results in Pennsylvania yet. I remember Doug Mastriano being like super based. Didn't Doug Mastriano basically say he was not going to sign off on the electoral votes unless they were for Trump? It was something like that. So I'll say this about Trump. Regardless of whether you think he's a good man or a bad man or a buffoon or whatever, at the end of the day, he got it done. He did reduce immigration by 50%. He did get Roe v. Wade overturned. Um, he did start a trade war with China. Did he do everything that everybody thought he was going to do? Probably not. But Reagan didn't get Roe v. Wade done. Bush didn't get it done. Um,
But Joe Biden did.
but like Trump did that. So
Mm-hmm.
like you can say what you will about Trump, about his affairs, about the sleazy shit he's done. Because of his actions indirectly, tens if not hundreds of thousands of babies will live. And
Mm-hmm.
I hope when he stands before God facing judgment, that is placed in his on the scales in his favor. Um,
Mm-hmm. The only thing that is just last night he had Kenneth Copeland on to pray, and like he's one of the most infamous, prosperity gospel televangelist, scam artists.
well, so I think Trump is very. I think he's probably nominally Christian, like he probably believes in God. But I think he more just thinks Christianity's good for America. Like Trump is a grifter.
Mm-hmm.
Like part of it is he just knows, like if he's gonna, the people who are gonna vote for him are gonna be like working to middle class, white, or I guess Hispanic too, religious people, and he kind of knows who his base is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think when he went in, he was facing off against Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, who both, I mean, you could say what you will about them, but they were had much better like social conservative credentials, and Trump was having to go up against
Mm-hmm.
them. And a lot of people like myself, I had issues with Trump just because of his multiple divorces, his various affairs, like all that kind of stuff. And like Cruz and stuff did seem more legitimate on that kind of thing, so he did kind of have to do that. But like I said, he got it done. Um, I think he also did teach the Republican Party, at least to a certain extent, that it's okay to fight. Like it's okay to go out and punch the guy in the mouth. metaphorically speaking, YouTube, metaphorically speaking, and to
Yes, Susan
actually,
Worcestershire sauce.
and to like actually, like I know in Florida, basically DeSantis just forced through like this really extreme gerrymandering that just completely like made Florida into a red state. But I
Hmm.
think at least in the state, in some states, I think like actually things have not been going that bad. Um, Texas, what would be nice if the Texas social media censorship law got to the Supreme Court, because I think there's a decent chance that the Supreme Court would uphold it. I don't think social media censorship is as contentious as Roe v. Wade. Um, so I don't know. But not to put you on the spot, your opinion though is we people shouldn't be voting, or am I wrong about that? Fritz, I think you muted yourself, or you're not pressing the push to talk button. Okay, there we go. Um,
So I hear you're a big fan of Rent a Girlfriend, right?
Let me guess, you like it?
No, gee, I would never watch it.
Okay,
No, I just got my.
because it seems like every show that I like, you hate, and every show you like, I hate.
What shows do I like that you hate?
I forget. There was some. Have you watched Over
No,
the Have you watched Over the Moon
go
for
ahead.
You?
No, is it what is it?
Okay, so I was gonna do a review on it because I've been rewatching it because like watching Rent a Girlfriend just made me feel dirty, so I had to watch something wholesome. So basically, the
Hmm.
plot of Over the Moon for You is the main character, NASA, gets saved from being hit by a car by this really cute girl, and he asks her to go out with him, and she says, "I'll go out with you if you marry me." And then it cuts to like
Hmm.
3 years later, and she comes back, and they get married in the first episode, and it's like this
Oh,
wholesome
good.
life of them as a married couple. Um,
Hmm.
and neither of them
I've
really
been.
have. Sorry, go on.
I started watching My Dress Up Darling. I don't know why, but Marin is cute. I, but it's okay. It's you know, it's certainly not like Rent a Girlfriend because it's the premise is that Gojo's lives with his grandpa who build and they make like traditional Japanese dolls, and he's like afraid everyone will ostracize him because he builds dolls, and then he finds like the really popular girl really likes cosplaying, and so they become good friends, and like he'll like make costumes for her so she can cosplay. She's also a massive weeb and a dork, and it made me think I want like a version of this where instead he's really into painting Warhammer minis and she likes cosplaying as like Sisters of Battle.
There is a subculture in Japan called history otakus, which is a
Hmm.
female thing. And they really like traditional aesthetics, so they like wearing kimonos and stuff. I know Ken Watanabe's daughter is a model, and she's really into that sort of thing.
Hmm. Who's Ken Watanabe again?
He's the Japanese guy in everything.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I also been rewatching like some of my favorites. Like, have you ever seen Outlaw Star?
No, I have not.
It's the same studio that made Cowboy Bebop. It's kind of a similar premise. It's nice, um, classic anime from the '90s about going out into space for adventure, looking for adventure and treasure and money, and you know, if they have like, and there's like you have like ships will have kung fu fights with each other, and there's like Taoist space magic in it too.
Okay, I'm gonna say something that's probably gonna get me like lose half my sub base. I actually the Cowboy Bebop live action TV show was so bizarre. I actually kind of liked it.
Hmm.
Like, it sucked, don't get me wrong, but it was just so weird. I like was kind of fascinated watching it. I watched one episode of Chainsaw Man. It just wasn't like my thing. I don't think.
Hmm.
I
I
just
really loved Chainsaw Man. Or I've read all the first arc of the manga. I think it's really good. It's kind of ultimately about, without trying to spoil anything, it's about uh, unmaking a simp. Because Denji is literally just a simp, but kind of as he goes on, he learns there's more than just simping over a pretty girl.
like it looks. I'm sure it's okay. I just don't know if it's my thing. So what
That's
else have
okay.
I've been watching? Spy Family season two's good. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I need to do a review of Spy Family. That's another show that's extremely wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love Anya. Uh,
Because she's a cute little psychic girl.
yeah. Um,
Mm-hmm.
her
I
English.
haven't actually seen it yet, but
Oh, her English voice actor is really funny. Just because she talks like she's retarded, kind of. Um,
mhm.
I'm watching that. I'm watching Uzuki Chan Wants to Hang Out season two.
Yeah,
Um,
I've seen. Oh, they made season two.
yeah, I finished Comey Can't Communicate.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was season two of that. I've been trying to watch more seasonal stuff than I used to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I've been getting into. I got I watched like the first 100 episodes of Fairy Tale, and then I also found at the local anime store somebody left four of the of out of all six box sets of the whole manga was for sale because it was used, so I bought them. It's great. It's basically Kmart version of shonen, and it's the embodiment of magic is it's magic. I ain't gotta explain shit.
yeah. Um, no, the thing is Spy Family, like when I first saw Spy Family, I don't want to call it Spy X Family just because it sounds retarded. But I'm like, okay, this is going to be the big show. Okay, we got the guy who's kind of the semi autistic Chad. We got the cute girl. We got the hot Yandere wife. We've got like this really kind of interesting musical style. I can't think of too many animes that are set during the Cold War. Uh it just it hits a lot of like it hits the wholesome thing, it hits the action thing, it hits the like comedy thing. It just hit a lot of different things that I think are important to a successful show. I might do a review of this. I just finished the Netflix put out a Dahmer series,
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one.
which actually, so Netflix can do documentaries and like crime docudramas for some reason. And it was pretty good. I actually am reading
Hmm.
because I wanted to also I'm reading the autobiography of his father, so I think I'm going to do a video talking about both of them.
Hmm.
Uh, the his autobiography, Dahmer's father's autobiography, is the biggest instance of cope I've ever seen. Um, it's cope in the opposite direction though, because basically his cope is that he's responsible for the way his son turned out. And it's very obvious that he isn't. Like the lame stuff he comes up with is I wanted to kill the kids who bullied me.
Hmm.
Um, like I'm like, oh, okay, that's. He's like, I tried to hypnotize someone. I was like, okay, it's like I made some bottle rockets. It's like, all right,
Hmm.
did you hurt animals? No. Did you hurt people? No. But I fantasized about killing some bullies. I'm like, wow, it's
Like, come
really
on, man, we've all been there.
yeah, that was his like attempt to say that he was a psychopath and like his son got it from him. I feel so bad for his
Hmm.
father. um
Hmm. There was like an inter. There was a. It was one of the better Joe Rogan interviews where he interviewed the guy that's the father of the guy who's running the Church of Scientology.
Oh, I forget his
But
name.
Dave Waskovich or Miskovich, whatever his name
McCavish?
is.
I think it's McCavish.
Yeah. Mhm. I also, I mean, I got a little bit into the Five Families book you recommended about the mafia, and it's you know, it makes you kind of understand where a lot of the WASP Anglo nationalists were coming from, because just to see the beautiful city of New York just now run by completely non-Anglo ethnicities, especially coming from a certain tribe that I won't name.
Mm-hmm. Enduro, you're probably right. I think part of it is just that I just don't know anything about it. Probably part of it is like I don't know. You're probably right, but I enjoyed it for what it was. So, um, yeah. So it's a really interesting book. I'm sorry it's so long, but they cover a lot of history in it. Um,
Hmm.
you do something I like about it is he does go into a lot of detail about why the mafia is shit. Like I feel that most things that talk about them try to romanticize them or try to say they're
Where in
like
reality they were awful, horrible people.
yeah, well they'll try to say like oh it was just the Italian American community came together to like protect themselves from the Anglos, and that was really like
Hmm.
not what happened at all. They were just like a lot of Italians really fucking hate the mafia. Um
Hmm.
because they get
Especially Mussolini hated them too.
yeah, well, because they get associated with it. Um,
Hmm.
although I find it funny that they start like the one mob Godfather started the Italian American civil rights movement. I don't know if you've gotten to that
Hmm.
part yet, but he started
No.
it and he's like the whole idea of there being a mafia is racism, is Anglo anti Italian racism.
Anti-med racism.
Yeah.
But I like it's kind of funny how similar the Yakuza basically does the exact same thing where they're like, no, we're like a patriotic, organization. We keep like the Russian mafia and the Chinese triads out. It's like you put people in concrete. I don't want to hear it.
The funniest thing is the guy who started the Italian American Civil Rights League got shot in a mob hit at the like first meeting. Like when
Mhm.
he was giving a speech to like about how the mafia didn't exist, he got whacked in the middle of
Mhm.
his speech. Cyber Ninja Zero says the Russian mafia and media is what the Italian mafia was actually like. Yeah, well, in the book he talks about like I think there is an example he talked about where like so basically to build anything in New York you have to get the mob to involved. There was a case where there was like a school that was like 200% over budget and there was raw sewage that was coming into it because of like
Mhm.
the way the bidding system worked. But it is interesting. Um I didn't really know anything about the mafia before reading that book, so it was kind of cool too.
Mhm.
Um,
It was a little scary because you think that, oh, the mafia doesn't really exist anymore, but apparently they're still, you know, causing issues.
so they talk about it at the end. So basically, during the '90s, um, they more or less. Earl Grey is still around. I talk to him pretty regularly. He just kind of goes into long hiatuses. Someone's asking about him, but no, don't worry. I still talk to him like pretty regularly. What was I saying?
About the mafia in the 90s.
Yeah, so most I think the every Godfather was put in jail during the '90s, and basically the mafia had more or less ceased to exist, or was on the verge of just dying. But 9/11 happened, and they took all the money out of organized crime and put it into counterterrorism. So it's come back
Mhm.
in a big way because there's basically no one stopping them.
Hmm.
Okay, we got some. I'm gonna have to talk about the election for a minute. Okay, so in Pennsylvania, we have Pittsburgh coming in. I'm pretty sure Pittsburgh is a Democrat area,
Hmm.
and so Dr. Oz is currently losing, but I still think he's gonna pull through there. Same thing in Ohio. Okay, all that's come in is like Columbus and Toledo. I'm sure the rest of the place is going to.
It will be wonderful having an Ottoman restorationist on the Senate.
So here's the thing about Oz. Um, Oz is a grifter, which is actually kind of a
Hmm.
good thing because I think he'll just say or do whatever Trump tells him to do. So, or he'll do whatever he thinks the Republican base wants him to do, which is preferable
Hmm.
to like someone who's just a liberal Republican. Because at least someone who's like a grifter who will do whatever the like you like they think is advantageous, you can actually get them to go along with stuff.
Hmm.
Doctor Pause. Yeah, it's so weird that Doctor Oz is running for. I don't know. Did
Hmm.
you see the
And he's
debate
and
between him and Fetterman?
I saw some of the highlights of the stroke victim, but
Okay, Enduro.
I,
So, sorry, I just want to address this. Okay, so Oz advocated for trans kids on his show back in 2012. Now, to my understanding, and I have not seen the clip, but some of the people who have looked into that said he didn't necessarily approve or disapprove of it. He just had them on his show and they talked about it. Um,
mm,
Now, was that a good thing to do? I don't think so, but I don't think. And you could be wrong. You might have looked into this more than me. That was more of what it was. I'm not saying Oz is based or anything. I just in terms of I think that was specifically something that was just that specific accusation against him. Oh, let's see, New Hampshire. Remember
did
Lady
you
Maga? No, I don't want to remember Lady Maga.
yeah, I don't know how friendly I can say this. I'll say this as delicately as I can. Is Lady Maga is make me understand why people are afraid of clowns. All I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Have
Um,
you have you played Resident Evil 8?
yeah, one second. I'm sorry, I'm just reading some comments.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Voted in PA today. All red. They extended the polls until 10 a.m. because apparently some poll stations in my county conveniently ran out of voting paper. I would ask you to not spread those lies here. Um, there was not only it was not convenient. They did not run out of voting paper. Mistakes do not happen in American elections. So, but good for getting out and voting. Apparently, Dr. Hawes has very small hands. So that's cool. It's good. I've never actually watched the Dr. Oz show, to be honest.
The only thing I remember him on is like when my mom would watch Oprah and he would be on it.
I used to watch Dr. Phil a lot back in the day.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, I kind of like Dr. Phil. Also, just because it was like a slightly more respectable version of
Jerry
Jerry
Springer.
Springer. Yeah, but like Dr. Phil's not like a bad guy. Like he's like
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure he's like a Republican, like a Christian Republican.
Oh, I mean, he did have like Matt Walsh on, and like who was like debating the trans rights thing, and he also like talked about how he was pro-choice because he had Leela Rose, who's like a one of the biggest voices in the pro-life movement, and he was like
Okay,
arguing and debating against her, and his whole audience was like angry at her.
right. Oh, that's too bad. I don't know.
Hmm.
I just found him like I don't think he was based or anything, but he just seemed like a
It's the
better
voice.
person than most of the people who ran similar shows.
Well,
Um,
I mean, it's not a very high bar with Jerry Springer.
Oz was boring mom television that you'd always skip. Yeah. Um, that's
He's no Doctor Now from My 600 Pound Life, who's just like, you need to stop eating or you're going to die. Why won't you stop eating?
my favorite reality TV show of all time is probably Kitchen Nightmares.
Mm.
Um,
I love there's this picture of it's like Gordon going, he's like yelling, the freshest thing in this kitchen is that pigeon, because there must have been
yeah,
like a pigeon in
I
the
remember
rafters,
that
and it
episode.
shows the pigeons in like a Supreme jacket. He's like, why, thank you, Gordon.
There were so many good.
I
I think the funniest thing about that show, just from a political perspective, is it reinforced like every stereotype, like
of
imaginable.
British people.
No, just because in the American show, um, just
Okay.
just like the Hispanic, like just the way the Hispanics and like stuff acted. British Kitchen
Mm.
Nightmares is my all-time favorite. I like the American one more. I know it's really dramaed up. So from my understanding of Gordon, Gordon is actually a really nice guy in real life. Um,
Mhm. Well, yes, he's playing a character on a show, so yeah, he's not really
the,
like
the
that.
the other thing is when you're when you're someone like a chef or that sort of thing, all you really have is your name and your word. And the people under you represent you. And if they fuck up or they deliver a substandard product or they don't clean, then that's reflects on you. So I think a lot of it kind of comes from that. Also, I think it's genuine
Hmm.
concern because like a lot of these people are serving like rotten food to their like paying customers. But pretty much everybody I've ever like who's met him in real life says, yeah, he swears a lot and has a bit of a like he's kind of over the top, but that he's a really nice guy. Um, one
Hmm.
one person called him the White Oprah in
Hmm.
one episode. So it
I
looks. Oh, so I have a call to make, guys.
Okay.
Ron DeSantis has been reelected as the governor of Florida. I know it's a shock to everybody. We were told that Florida was a swing state. I remember when in like 2020 they were trying to say that Montana was a swing state. They're like Montana's a swing state, Alaska's a swing state. Um,
Okay, any state where Serp is from is not a swing state.
it's the Methno state, but it's not a
Hmm. I
Beta
Yeah.
is ahead, but that's because all that's come in so far is Austin.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've but speaking of Gordon and chefs, is yeah, I've learned a lot about cooking just being on my own now, and especially my dad was like a chef for like 20 years, so he taught me how to
Oh,
do some
cool.
basic cooking. Like I love making like pasta Alfredo now. Just problem is I can't just like get a pre-made meal now usually because like it will never be as good as what I can make at home. Like I love making these I love making quesadillas now. Just cutting up onions, and cheese, and chicken thighs, putting hot sauce on it. Fry it up, all good. But, I even learned how to make my own French fries, where you just pan fry them in some olive oil and rosemary, and it's really good.
Yeah, those are. It's actually really. That was a lot easier than I thought. Making fried fish was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Hmm. Salmon is not as expensive as I thought either.
Um, I'm lazy, so I tend to make a giant pot of something, be it
Hmm.
like pasta sauce with meat and veggies, or butter chicken, or burrito mix, and just kind of eat on it throughout the week.
Yeah, I usually do that for a few meals, and I also discovered I really like lamb chops. I even made like a lamb burger where you could get ground lamb at the grocery store, Put that on. Put goat cheese on it. Green onions and like Dijon mustard. It's really good.
Mhm. So it looks like Rubio is gonna win. It's very surprising. So is Rubio like that bad? Just for people in the chat, because people always shit on him. I get that he's. Is it just his like opinions on immigration? Because I thought he wasn't too bad on most issues, but I could be
Hmm.
wrong. So Rubio won re-election. Tim Scott did. My understanding, Tim Scott kind of sucks, but whatever. Some of
Is he
these,
the base black guy?
I think so.
No,
No,
oh god.
sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I've been really thoroughly, and I hope you don't mind us going off topic, but I've been very much enjoying your posting the Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide screenshots.
Oh, that's fucking amazing. Let me see if I can bring that up.
I love you showed the one in the trench coat and of him in the trench coat. I'm like, is this like a shot from Columbine?
No, it reminded me more of the Terminator.
Hmm.
Okay, so for those of you who aren't aware of the autism, there are pages on Facebook that are where they will take a movie or a TV show or something and they will post every frame of that series in the order in which it appeared. Oh, okay, it's not letting me. Okay, that's too bad. But yeah, so they will have like every single frame of Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. And basically, if you're gonna go through an entire show and show just like every frame of it, a lot of it is gonna be like really sussy. And just some of the screenshots that have come up have been pretty hilarious. So I've just been posting some of
Hmm.
those on
Old
Twitter,
live
like
action Nick.
yeah, Ned's Declassified School Survival. I never actually watched it to be honest. Um,
I did, and it was I mean it probably sucks now, but I was like, yeah, I watched it along with like Drake and Josh and the gang. The only one that's actually still good is Avatar, of course. It was always weird seeing like a picture of Aang with like SpongeBob and the other Nicktoons because like it did not fit in at all because it was its own thing. Very
it's
it's
really
still
weird
just very
because dub sites will have it up as a dub,
hmm,
like the English
even though it's
dub.
not.
Well, it's
It's like
native
the natural
languages.
language. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. One second, I'm just
Hmm.
gonna bring up some of these Ned's declassified. I'm just trying to find some of the ones I put up.
This is very important election work we're doing.
Well, we're covering. It's just not that much has come in yet. We're just I'm bringing them up
Hmm.
as it did. I just tried to find just because most I have most of them on my phone. So okay,
Uh,
here we go. Yeah, like there's one. If people can see that on screen. Yeah, you can come on. Just you can be sarcastic, but just don't get me kicked off of YouTube, sir. That's all I ask. I've already
that's
got
sir.
one strike.
Yeah, that's a soy jack face if I've ever seen it.
Let me see. I'm just trying to find some more.
What was it about like those shows where the black kid is also the nerd? Because it did that on Fairly Odd Parents too.
It's something I like to call casting.
Hmm. Like Dan Schneider did with young girls having Yeah, I rewatched Avatar recently, and what was amazing to me is just that the fact that it's kind of based in the end because it ends with the rightful heir being crowned, and like they don't turn the Fire Nation into a liberal democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Comrade.
Oh, hey, sir. Good to have you on, man.
Thanks.
So, uh, what are
As the great orc of Pennsylvania triumphed using 1870s tactics yet?
what do you mean?
It's not an orc; he's an
Uh,
ogre.
well, the great ogre of Pennsylvania.
Which one? That could refer to a number of different people.
The Senate orc. The Senate,
Oh,
the
okay.
Stroke
great,
victim.
the great uh, uh, bleaching ogre of Pennsylvania.
Will not, but inshallah, he will not defeat the glorious, Ottoman restorationists of Mehmet al-Az.
I guess so.
Well, Veterans winning at the moment, but all that's come in is Philly and Pittsburgh, so we'll see. Um, I've been having to ban people in the chat because people in the chat have been making up this lie that some of the voting machines ran out of paper in Republican areas, and I can't tolerate that kind of thing.
Obviously, that's all the stuff that happened in the 19th century. That is like alternative history.
No, like I'm gonna be honest. Like, am I being unfair for saying that that's the implication when they say any past U.S.
I
presidential
mean, that's
election?
what they directly say, and I would get shouted down and at the end of like college history class for saying so
Uh huh.
For saying what?
in university for mentioning Tammany Hall and
Oh,
all the
they
stuff
claimed
that
that
happened
that
in the
didn't
19th
happen.
century. Yeah, they just claim it didn't happen anymore.
Okay.
Like it really actually is kind of no longer supposed to have occurred.
So did Jim Crow occur? Because that's the one I really wonder about.
Well, Jim
So
Crow is different because Jim Crow is where you have like the blacks weren't legally allowed to vote.
I thought
So
they
like
were no, but
Tammany,
they were legally allowed to vote. They just weren't in practice.
no, they weren't legally. So it didn't necessarily mean blacks because there was also disenfranchised like lower class white people, of course, but like basically it disenfranchised blacks and they legally couldn't vote. Right?
But because
It
it
wasn't
was
particular.
technical, but because it was technically legal, then it was okay.
Yeah. Well, I
Okay.
mean, it was legal for decades, right? It's different than the outright, you know, ballot stuffing. Like, I mean, Edgar Allan Poe is believed to have died because he was like forced to vote multiple times by the mafia, dude. That's like one of the main theories of why he died.
Uh huh. Um. Well, I mean, like, I don't know. I guess once again, also like they're not very clear about midterm, like, Senate elections or congressional elections. Now they said German parliamentary and then had Bundestat. I don't know if parliamentary means like previous parliaments as well, because it could mean
Mm-hmm.
that Hitler's elections were legitimate.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, it's just a bad all around, like,
do you
it's
think
bad
they
all
just got
around.
some like affirmative action intern to write that and didn't proofread it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know. I just want to drink beer and play Mario Party.
hey, I'm
Yeah.
drinking beer right now. What are you drinking?
Oh, a lowly peasant bitch beer.
Okay. Drinking a Cran Orange Keller beer from Genesee Brewery.
I
Okay,
think
never mind. I'm drinking a Bud Light Chicago
The
Clamato
fuck
beer.
out of the stream.
Yeah,
I am
but
a
you're
beer
drinking
snob.
some weird like cranberry beer or something. I don't even
It's
know.
great.
Yeah, it looks like okay. Rubio won Miami Day. It doesn't say by how much. Let's see if
I don't think Rubio's like Florida's evolved to be pretty reliable, hasn't it?
Well, no, like you had Cope that Florida was a swing state, and
Isn't
that
Florida gradually transformed into a red state?
yes, no, but like dude, they said Montana was a swing state,
Yeah.
and they said
Yeah.
Alaska was a swing state, and although Alaska might
What's
actually
not a swing state?
Ohio is apparently a swing state. Um,
Like, is Nebraska a swing state? Is Wyoming a
well,
swing state?
the
Like,
one district in Nebraska is.
okay, because they have the non-winner take all system.
Mm-hmm. I'm drinking my sparkling orange flavored water.
I went to a bodega today to try and get sparkling water because I was like, there's a lot of trapped air in my chest.
Mm-hmm.
But the bodega didn't have like sparkling water or whatever you want to call it. I was sad.
I live next to an international beer store.
Based red pill.
Mm-hmm. And
Uh,
I can get Russian beer for super cheap now because they don't want to
I
sell
tried
it.
a Russian beer once and it didn't.
Was it
I didn't
was
like
it
it.
Baltica?
It was the one with Rasputin on it. It was like a big
Mm.
like two. It was like probably like over 24-liter bottle.
Mm. There was a good one that's like a honey beer that has like a windmill on it. That's a Russian beer. It's pretty good.
From my understanding, Russia has become a beer country, and Putin did it as a deliberate policy
Mm.
to
so
try and combat alcoholism.
I think what happened was I think Florida has been a red state at the state level for a long time, but it was a purple state in presidential elections until
Yeah.
Trump and DeSantis.
You know what's interesting is like congressionally Montana was like a purple state and it's gradually becoming a hard red state. So I was reading about how because with the new census of the 2020 census, Montana regained its second congressional seat. And so like the Eastern Montana congressional seat is like plus 20 Republican or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Western seat is plus 7 Republican
Mm-hmm.
bias.
Um, Unfortunately, I still think Whitmer will probably win re-election in Michigan.
Unless someone kidnaps her again.
Oh, like the what did I
That didn't
call
happen.
the Federal Bureau of Infrastructure um was paying the what was it the something construction the concrete construction corporation. That was the most obvious real attempt to kidnap a governor I've ever seen. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah.
So I've been trying to looking at to get into the Resident Evil games because I know you played 8, right, Argent?
Yeah, it was kind of meh.
I've just been watching some like playthroughs of it because like the gameplay of those games doesn't seem all that good, but the story seems kind of fun. But now it makes me think, probably when it was first made in the 90s, the idea, oh, Umbrella Corporation, this evil, bioengineering, bioweapon corporation, creating a virus and all that. That's so ridiculously evil, it could never happen. Um, and I hate living now.
So someone brings up the FBI. Well, the FBI is the Federal Bureau of Infrastructure. Its job is to provide employment to tens of thousands of people across the country through initiatives such as the KKK or Quality Construction Corporation, um, and numerous other strangely named groups who are. It's a form of stimulus in downstates. It's just hire people on the FBI's payroll. Um,
So What games have you played in the Resident Evil series?
Um, Remake 2, Remake 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
So you're
8.
um,
I haven't
pretty
played
well.
Veronica and I haven't played the original. I think. Oh, and Revelations. Revelations I also
Well, you
played.
haven't really played any of the tank games.
No.
I think that you could really say that there's like three eras now of Resident Evil. There's like the first era, which is the original Resident Evil through Code Veronica, the so-called tank control games, and then you have Resident Evil 4 through like um, what do you call it? Revelations 2, which is like the third-person shooter era, and now you have like the new era that's begun with
First person?
yeah, the first-person kind of era. But I don't know if the third-person era is completely ended yet because the remakes are still similar gameplay to Resident Evil 4.
I don't really like the new two. Like, I didn't like Biohazard that much or 8 that much.
Yeah,
Um,
I haven't played either. Oh, I played like an hour of Resident Evil 7.
what did you think?
It's a walking simulator.
I'll
I
say
didn't
this:
find it too
it's
impressive.
it's probably scarier, but I kind of liked it. I like kind of the mixture of
The appeal to me is kind of like the goofiness,
Hmm.
personally, but
like 6 was the goofiest, I think. Um,
I only played like the first half hour of Leon's.
Although it's close.
Uh,
Five is base though, for obvious reasons.
yeah,
Someone's asking what's
Because
going
Chris
on
punches a
here. We're
boulder.
waiting for results to pull in, and while we're waiting for results to pull in, we're just talking away from about
whatever.
Resident Evil because Resident Evil is
Hmm.
the show they put out. It wasn't bad actually. What was it called again? Was it Resident Evil Infinite Darkness? There's a scene that I think was obviously put in there for fan service where Claire's wearing glasses. Um, I'm convinced that that was put in there as fan service. Oh no,
Hmm.
okay, no, I'm not talking about the live action one. What the fuck? There's a live action one? That looks horrible. The
What one?
what?
Netflix.
Yeah, they made a new Netflix one.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Netflix one. I'm talking about is the animated one. Infinite Darkness wasn't bad.
Infinite Darkness. Darkness imprisoning me. I cannot live. I cannot. I don't know.
I
I'm
kind of
too
wish
tired.
they'd bring Wesker back.
I cannot die.
I miss Wesker.
He's just so evil.
Well, he was such camp.
Hmm.
Natural selection makes humans bigger and better. Resident Evil 5 has like Chris uppercutting a boulder. Like,
I know, like, a lot of people complain about Resident Evil 5, but I will say this. It seems that people that have played Resident Evil 5 have played Resident Evil 5 a lot, including me.
how funny, how much fun was the ancient Egyptian laser beam part?
I mean, I have it on 3 consoles, and I'm thinking of getting it on a fourth.
Oh, it's so much fun. Also, I like the RPG elements of that in 4. Like where you can
Hmm.
upgrade your guns. Um, and
Is
then
that in 6? I didn't get that
no,
far,
they
and
took
I
it
don't.
out. No, they took it out in 6, but they put it back in Village,
Oh, okay.
I think.
Um, I mean, I really like 4 as well.
The version of 4, I played the slightly
Right.
enhanced version of 4 on the Wii, which was really good.
Hmm.
Do most people say that either 2 or 4 is the best?
think people really like the 2 remake and 4.
Yeah, I just meant two, either original two or the current two.
Hmm.
Um,
Makes me think if they make a new one, do we have to see like old Jill, old Chris, and like old Leon?
Three was actually better than I thought it was gonna be. Um,
Hmm.
the remake wasn't bad. The reason I never wanted to play three was I thought that literally the entire game Nemesis would just show up, but it's actually only in certain parts, so it didn't bother me that much. Let's see here. So let's just take a peek. So Oz is currently getting completely and totally creamed, but to be fair, all that's come in is like Philly and Pittsburgh. Um, Georgia is getting closer, but once again, mostly what's come in is Atlanta, the suburbs, and Savannah. Um, Kansas is a swing state, guys. Mark Holland is definitely going to win in Kansas. New Hampshire is once again just the rural areas haven't come in a lot of these places. So,
Well, is New Hampshire supposed to be
uh,
a Senate seat to watch?
it's competitive.
Okay.
So Nevada is pretty much most people agree Nevada's going to flip. Um, most people I think thought Georgia was going to. New Hampshire was
Most
possible.
Orthodox people. Is that too spicy?
No.
Okay. Just tell me if I get too spicy.
Hmm.
I'm going to use the term Orthodox for conventional.
Right. Let's see here.
Because Georgia orthodoxly looks like it will flip to be Republican.
Hmm.
Same thing with North Carolina, I believe.
Okay, I'm such a spurg. I thought you were talking about the country Georgia and Orthodox Christians for a minute. I'm like, it's like, is this too spicy? I'm like, is he talking about Putin? Um, while you're here, so what do you think about what's going on in Ukraine?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that the borders are just going to be what they are now.
Do you think Russia will launch a winter offensive or?
I mean, that would make sense, but I don't know if they will.
I don't know. I kind of feel like everything's in place for them to launch a winter offensive and for it to be like the change they need. But I don't know. It's just the whole war has been kind of fought under a lot of like unnecessary self restraint. I know that's going to sound
Hmm.
weird given how much of the Ukraine's been blown up, but I
I
feel,
don't really understand because Russia has a huge standing army. Like,
Bad.
and it's been so long now. Like, I understand initially that they'd have a shit ton of soldiers deployed in Belarus and outside of the Baltic states under the possibility of a invasion from
it's very clearly not happening
NATO,
now, though.
but it's very clearly not happening. So why don't they commit more troops now?
It makes it. What's gonna happen then is, I think the left is, or the Western NATO power that side. If they were so committed to like wanting regime change in Russia that anything other than that now is going to be considered a loss, even if it's like Russia doesn't really gain much territory at all. But on the other hand, it's also shown that Russia clearly does not have a very competent military structure.
And I mean, I don't even know because there's so much fog of war. So the Russian cope is that Russia's been not going full balls to the wall like they could be. because they've been trying to avoid civilian casualties, which could be true, but it's at the same time, I think the expectation was there that they would just wipe the floor with them. Um, Someone brings up a good point. In Resident Evil 5, I honestly thought Sheva was Indian for most of the game.
Really?
Yeah.
If you notice that her motion, what do you call it? Like her actress is considerably more African looking than she is. If
Because
you've
I
seen
thought
her,
she was like, no, I hadn't. I thought that her character, that and her name being Sheva, was that she was like an Indian immigrant or something.
I think it's just Japanese people not liking uh, black people,
Hmm.
so that they made her look very un-African.
That's probably true. Let's see here. I wish they didn't kill off Wesker. Yeah, I mean, Wesker was kind of getting played out, but then they brought in Simmons, and he was kind of like meh. And now, do we even have a main villain now?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't played a new game since 6. Or no, 7. I played 7.
Hmm. I
The
wonder.
villain kind of aspects of 7 and 8 are gone now too. So
The problem with the village is like the first quarter of it isn't that bad because it's like you have the village itself, and then you have like the castle level, which is very kind of like traditional Resident Evil, and then it just
It's ready
becomes a
when
walking simulator.
and then like you just have way too much combat focus in the last section.
Hmm.
Like you have a tank fight with Heisenberg, and you're like, yeah, I get Resident Evil's supposed to be over the top, but did it have to become Metal Gear Solid?
I forgot about that. That did happen.
It is kind of cool though. You have to, but it's like
Mhm.
it's not scary in any way, shape, or
Also, what's
form.
his name? Ethan. I just don't find him that interesting a main character.
Yeah, it's weird. Like they purposefully never show his face and don't really characterize him. But it's like what's the point of like having him as a quote
His
unquote
wife
memorable?
was super annoying in the
Mhm.
one.
Also, like how everybody probably thought Lady Dimitrescu was the main villain just because she was the meme for the whole everything leading
She
up to
was
the
like
game, and
a
then she's like,
minor villain.
uh,
What's her name was the main villain.
Mother Miranda.
Yeah. The problem is replay. Okay, I thought the factory level sucked. Um,
Mm.
just because like it was the most confusing thing I think I've ever done. Um, I was trying to play Mercenaries in that game, and Mercenaries was just a pain as well. So, hey Rain,
Also,
how are you doing, girl? Aw.
also just think it's really cute how Chris is like, okay, my school, we're called the Hound Wolf Squad, and I'm Alpha, and this one is Canine.
Mm-hmm.
It's something a 10-year-old would come
Here,
up with.
I'm gonna leave. I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, see
Okay.
Have
you
a good
later
night.
then. Just the autism wasn't the right kind of autism. Ow, ow, don't bite me, Rain. Don't bite me. Okay, there you go. Let's see. Jeez. It's looking like we're just not going to have a lot of results. I might can this at like 8. But
Yeah.
what is. Let me see what the next Resident Evil um, game is
They
going to
made
be.
DLC where you get to play as Rose, so
I mean, that might be interesting playing as Rose, because doesn't she have like special powers and stuff?
She's a half mold monster.
Yeah. The thing I never got it from like the village is how Ethan was just surviving like all this stuff.
Well, that's what they're explaining is that, oh, it's because you're, magic. Or no, it's because you're not actually Ethan Winters, you're a mold monster that has his consciousness.
They
Oh,
need
Absolute Defender, Cora is shit. It's awful.
they need a prion now. So they've had mold, they've had or have they had bacteria? I'm trying to remember if there's been a bacterial. I think there was. There's a
I've heard
fungus
of a
now.
prion. What's a prion?
It's hard to explain.
Okay.
It's kind of like an infection, but not exactly. They've had a parasite with Las Plagas. I'm not sure. The T virus. What's Resident Evil Reverse? Is that some sort of I don't know. Anyway, so Resident Evil 4 remake is the next one. I don't really know if I don't know, the controls were pretty like normal in it. Like I don't really know what necessarily they need to improve about it, but I don't know. We'll see.
Mm. But I do have to say, I did kick. You know how we were both very disappointed in Iron Harvest because
Oh yeah, what did you
I'm
think
sure
about
do you.
Iron Harvest?
I mostly agreed with you. Just for me, it's just that the visual design of the mechs was good, but that was not enough to carry it.
Uh,
But I am. Go ahead.
I just thought the gameplay was really lacking.
Yeah, no, it's because I'm like, no, it's the current year. Can we please have more units in an RTS?
Well, there's no difference between the three factions in terms of like their basic
Mm.
units. I guess their basic infantry was different, but they everything else was like the same. The mechs were
Mm-hmm.
different, but I just feel like Company of Heroes, which was a much more dynamic game, um,
I love Company of Heroes.
and it didn't really recreate any of that. It felt like they were trying to do a cross between Command and Conquer and Company of Heroes, but didn't do either of them very well.
Yeah, but so right now I or last year I kickstarted and they just released the demo recently to backers is Rotten Reich, where it's kind of trying to do a similar thing where it's diesel punk, World War One to RTS, but everyone is like it's like Germans are rats, the British and French are mice, the Russians are cockroaches, and like the Chinese are lizards. And that's like promising like you're gonna have a lot more kind of promising to be like a combination of Company of Heroes and Men of War. You can kind of select and control individual units as well as squads. And I played the demo, and yeah, it's a pre-alpha, one level. It's super buggy. The visuals are good. It's just it's gonna need. It'll probably be very good when it's finished.
Okay, let me see here. Give me a sec. Let me just send you this. I've just been kind of distracted by life, the universe, and everything. I'll send you that link. Let me just grab it. Because you
Hmm.
like will actually bring us back on topics. We'll stop talking about like Resident Evil and random anime. There we go.
Uh, where did you send me? It's
Oh no, I sent it to the paternal, to Frankish Knight,
Oh, okay.
so he'll probably jump on. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to going back to my old job because like I'd get there around 6 and leave at 2:30, so I'd still have a whole day. But oh, sorry. Like the thing that I've really realized is how is like normal working hours, how awful it is on your eyes because the sun is constantly in your eyes when you're driving because it's like
Oh,
Oh, hey, what up?
hey man, good to have you on. Um,
Yeah, apparently Herschel Walker is about to take the lead in Georgia.
yeah, I had heard that he was probably going to win. Let me just bring this up. It's fairly close. The issue is most of what had come in was just Atlanta, Savannah, and Augusta. Um, it looks like Warnock is fairly maxed out at the moment.
Yeah, let me check. So I'm going to check to see what okay, so, oh, they are maxed out. Because if you look at the Atlanta area, they, like, have gotten, like, a good 60% of the vote in, while they barely counted a lot of rural counties.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. Um, uh, Same thing with Ohio looks similar.
Yeah, Ohio, I honestly think J.D. Vance wins by, like, I don't know, 10 points?
Now, do you still think Oz is just because looking at Pennsylvania, it looks like all the votes are from Pittsburgh and Philly?
Yeah, I think Oz definitely has a shot. And some of the votes are like for instance, there's a county that's right next to Pittsburgh called Washington County.
Mm-hmm.
It's currently 75-23D. It voted for Trump by like 40 points, so it's obviously not true. Or it's obviously just early votes.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Florida's still a swing state. It's still up in the air. Rubio could lose somehow. Um,
Oh no, they called it for both.
no, I know.
Or is this? Oh, it's my bad. Yeah, yeah. So I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to see how big the margin of victory is for DeSantis at this point. So 83% has been called. DeSantis is winning by 18 points,
What
and
about,
his lead is expanding. He could win by 20 points. Like this is ridiculous.
what about New Hampshire?
It's a bit weird. Okay, I'm gonna check New Hampshire. So New Hampshire, the Don Bolduc is
No,
down by 24, but only 15% of the
not
vote is
very
in.
much has come in, and it looks like it's mostly from urban areas.
Yeah, that is correct. Ted Budd is about to take the lead in North Carolina. Um,
Was that a state that people were actually thinking was going to be close?
some like terminally online resist libs thought it was going to be close, but it's not. He'll probably win by like 6.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think there's any odds that people say there was shenanigans in Florida?
There might have been, but like obviously that didn't affect the results. Like
No, I mean
seeing
on the
how.
other side.
what Russian hackers?
If so, then thank you, Russian hackers, for allowing DeSantis to win by 20 points.
So,
Jeez,
do you
I'm so
think
sorry,
we'll
I thought I
see
muted
any of
myself.
that? Like, do you think we'll see Democrats claiming shenanigans happened after tonight?
I really do. I do think we'll see that. Honestly, I really do.
Do you think, because I know these people don't care about hypocrisy, but do you think that they've shot themselves in the foot at all with spending the last 2 years saying that election irregularities are metaphysically impossible? Or does that just not matter?
I think they don't really have. They don't have the foresight to really care about that.
Do you think, like, to the average person, though, they'll notice that?
I think average people will. Like, I think, even though we do tend to overblow, or some people tend to overblow the idea that, like, normies will wake up. Like, objectively, like, when you see big irregularities, and, like, normies will tend to notice.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying if the Democrats have spent the last 2 years correctly, YouTube, saying that nothing happened. Not only did nothing happen the past presidential election, nothing's happened in any presidential election in American history. Um, and now they're probably going to start saying stuff about how, well, they said democracy's on the ballot, so they're already kind of heading in that direction. Um, is Phil Scott like the worst Republican governor in the country?
Yes, although ironically, the second worst is in Utah, where it's like a guy who's literally it's I don't know what's wrong with Utah Republicans, but this guy is literally like, yes, trans rights, but as a Republican, and like most of the base in Utah hates him, but they used to Arkansas has a governor who's being replaced this year, who basically vetoed a bill which banned, giving kids, sterilizing hormones.
Uh-huh.
The legislator had to override his veto, and this guy who's like delusional about his political prospects, just claims he'll run for president in 2024 as some random ass governor from Arkansas.
Sorry, so who was? Because
Asa Hutchinson.
Okay, was she a Republican or?
Yes, is. He's being replaced though, so that's the good news.
Is that Mike Huckabee's daughter?
He's being replaced by Mike Huckabee's daughter. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Let me see. Did she lose the primary?
Who?
The governor who sucked.
No, he just was term limited. So.
Oh, okay, but might have been primary challenged.
Yeah, look at the results in Rhode Island in the House race. Rhode Island's second.
Okay, let's see here. I can never remember where Rhode Island is. Where is Rhode Island?
It's right next to Connecticut, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay, there we go. What is the result? It doesn't really say.
Republicans in a Biden plus 16 district are basically tied.
Okay, that's interesting.
Also, it's possible Republicans flip a district in Nova, which is it's 79% of the vote, and the Republican is up by about 6. It's a D+2 district.
Sorry,
or it
where
voted
is
for
this?
Biden. It's in Virginia.
Virginia.
I recommend you use the New York Times map, because it's a lot better.
Okay, I'm just going to New York Times.
They have a proportional map for the House races. Switch to the district map. It's a lot prettier looking. The proportional map looks ugly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. Let me see here. It's demanding I sign in. I'm gonna have to look. It's not letting me look at it. Let me see if I can run this in something else. Um, have they called any? Is the next round of polls closing in like a minute?
Oh yeah, in a minute actually.
Okay, let's see here. What am I looking for? Okay, let's see here. We'll have to switch this over to Google, maybe. To Chrome. Okay, let's see here. We'll switch this over. 3, 2. Where did it go? Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's see here. Kids don't deserve cancer. If you don't vote for the Democrats, then little kids will get cancer. Okay, let's see here. Okay, it looks like that page crashed. Wow, good job, New York Times. Hmm. Okay, Chrome just completely crashed. That's good. I guess they don't like the New York Times any more than I do. Have there been any shenanigans yet? No, nor will there ever be any shenanigans. Such things do not happen in U.S. elections. Let's see here.
Okay, Raphael Warnock is about to lose the lead. He's only up by 0.1% with 51% of the vote in.
Sorry, everybody. Just New York Times site is sucking, so I'm having trouble bringing it up.
Warnock is the all the A men and the A women guy, right?
Yeah, that's him. Be right back.
Okay. What does it? Sorry, what's A men and A women? I'm not familiar with this meme.
Oh, Warnock, in a session of Congress or something, he was like leading a prayer, and he's super liberal black Democrat, and he's like, we get an amen and all the A women too.
Oh. Okay, that is cringe. There we go. Managed to get that back up. Okay. That is super cringe. Okay, let's see here.
Not just the A women, but the A men too. And the A children.
Had your kids, had your wives, had your husband. They're raping everybody out here.
You snatching your people up.
Wow, this is garbage. Okay. Wow. This is the single worst. I don't know what the issue is. Maybe it's just because I'm not a subscriber to the New York Times. I'm not allowed to. Oh, wait. Maybe it just loads like shit. Oh, sorry. That's my
So,
radiator.
what do you think of based Indian man being the first pagan PM in Britain since the time of the Saxons?
I don't know what to say. Um,
I
exactly.
do like what Distributist said, as to knock against the neo pagans. Where he's like, all right, well, you got a based pagan in power instead of a Christian. So obviously Britain's gonna become based now, right?
Oh, it's true. Um,
Mhm. I
sorry.
just wish they would tell me what gods I need to worship because, you know,
Okay, let me see. I'm just trying to figure out how to put push to talk on because my radiator's being really loud in the background. So
Okay, so a big vote dump just happened in Georgia. Raphael Warnock is now up by 7. This is with DeKalb County, which they had a dump in. Dump.
hmm I don't know. The New York Times just isn't loading for me. So I might just switch back to whatever I was on.
does anyone know who won the mayoral race for Quickville, Virginia?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because now that the CPU goddess is in jail, who's gonna take over?
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Ted Budd is taking the lead now in North Carolina.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find. Okay, the New York Times one doesn't work. Is there another one you'd recommend?
Decision Gas HQ, although they tend to have glitchy results.
Um. Okay, here we go. So okay, so there's a big vote dump for Warnock. Um, is he almost exhausted though?
They're getting very close to it.
I don't know. There's still a lot of votes to come in some of the those counties, so it's quite possible.
Look at the full race results. Let me try to see the percentage. Uh,
Okay, let me look at New Hampshire. Um, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look like it at the moment, but only 22% is in at the moment. I don't know if what's in is mostly from which districts. Ohio, yep. Tim Ryan's totally going to win Ohio, guys. It's definitely what's going to happen. River Run sends me $10. Bing bong. Thank you, my good man. I appreciate that.
Kansas is about to take the lead in Ohio.
hmm I can't. Well, I mean, everyone knew Kansas, Missouri, Rubio.
Apparently, according to this decision desk, or not decision desk, according to political polls, Kemp won. Brian Kemp.
The governor.
Yes, and Herschel Walker is only 3 points behind Brian Kemp.
It would seem weird to me if Kemp would win, but Walker wouldn't.
There's a lot of people who are splitting their ticket, mostly white suburbanites.
Oh, okay. So they won't vote for the black guy. ironically.
I mean, they're voting for a black guy either way. So
It's true. Oh, it's true. Okay, so let's see here. Indiana. I'm just trying to find. Okay, so that's Senate. How do I get to? Okay, governor's results and House results. Oh no, it's 2022. I want. No, they haven't called it yet for Brian Kemp, at least on Decision Desk. Um. Oh, okay. Wow, they've counted no votes in Maine. New Hampshire, Chris Sununu wins re-election. I don't know. Do you think Doug will pull it off?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Did they not? Did they not support him? Did the National GOP not support him much? Or
Yeah, I mean, Doug Shapiro, Doug Mastriano is only underperforming Oz by like 4%. So if the Oz wins by more than 4, then odds are Mastriano wins.
yeah, but did the federal GOP throw Doug under the bus?
Yeah, they did. They did. They didn't give him any money.
Do you think if they had have given him money, he probably could have won?
Yeah, he might even still win now. I just don't know about it.
I guess it
There's only
depends.
10.
Someone's saying that he ran a really bad campaign. Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, I think part of it's because he didn't. It's partially his fault, partially the fault of the Republican Governors Association.
For not supporting him?
Yeah.
See, they are refusing to call Texas. How do you think Kansas is gonna go?
Oh, they've already called Kansas.
Oh, they have?
Yeah.
For who?
Oh, not the governorship. No, they called it for Senate.
No, I'm talking about governor.
Okay, let me check. Kansas.
Was Brian Kemp the same asshole who brought us 2020 Georgia?
That was Brad Raffensperger.
Oh, okay.
He was the Secretary of State of.
Oh, okay. Well, then he kind of was. I think it's going to be really. I think 2024 is going to depend a lot on if Doug wins or not. For a variety of obvious reasons, but we'll see. When is Arizona closing?
They're closing at I think 10.
Oh, okay. Have New York's polls not closed yet? Because wasn't there some expectation that the race there would be somewhat close for governor? Okay, let's see here. Okay, maybe we'll take a look at Attorney General. Oh, no, you can't look at that. Okay. You're not allowed to. Let's
I just want to
refresh.
see Brooklyn Dad Defiant cry. He's like one of the paid shill lefty reply accounts.
Okay, looks like Decision Desk has locked me out. Maybe I have to sign into this with my Google account or something. Everything requires a fucking account these days. It's the worst. Okay, let's swap back. Sorry, guys, I'm having to swap back and forth on this one, but it's. In the words of the greatest philosopher of our age, Darkside Phil, it is what it is, nothing I can do, but I digress.
Still imagining the post-apocalypse scenario where, for some reason, you're walking around the nuclear wasteland. You pick up, there's a signal coming from the computer. Darkside Phil is still streaming and still saying, "Pay me money, you assholes! Fuck you."
Well, you gotta respect that he is the pig roach.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call him. Okay, let's see here. Senate results. We're still waiting on Pennsylvania. I don't know. It's very early in Pennsylvania, and everything's from the urban areas. Let's
Mm-hmm.
see. Okay,
Why can't they do elections on a Friday night instead? Jeez.
it's a good question. I don't know.
I know in Europe they do a lot of them on Sunday nights, which I don't like.
Yeah, I feel like Friday would probably be Thursday or Friday.
Hmm.
I think in Canada they legally have to give you 3 hours to vote.
Hmm. Do they have jury duty in Canada?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you been called?
Nope, I've never had to do jury duty.
I was called once, like in 2014, which was around when like you're eligible, and I just like waited in the side room for a few hours, and then said, they settled it out of court. Go home."
Mm-hmm.
Which is the best, uh, you know, result you can get, but
Mm-hmm.
could also just act like a complete psychopath, and then they won't hire you or they won't use
If
you.
you're a teacher, they will kick you out. There's like everyone gets a certain number of vetoes. Teachers, I think, almost always get vetoed by the
Mm.
defense because they tend to vote guilty.
Mm.
It's a yeah. Okay, so let's see here. Set of results. I got called for jury duty. Best $80 for doing nothing I ever made. That sounds like fun.
Paid you? Wait, oh wait, no, they paid me. Forgot. Jeez, that was like 8.5 years ago.
I actually think it might be interesting, to be honest, but I'll probably
Mhm.
regret that.
I think like a lot of these types of things, it's the 95% of it is unbearably boring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, oh yeah, you saw the black phone too, right?
The what?
The Black Phone, that movie.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I thought it was
Honestly, the
pretty
problem
good.
is that it was a good movie. It's just the problem is that it was just kind of it was a good movie, and there's not really much to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at least it like, yeah, you're right. It's not like you can't really analyze it much. It's just kind of a decent horror movie.
Hmm. Do you ever see any of these spaghetti westerns?
Not many.
I've only seen Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and it's still probably one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I just never been a big Western guy. I don't know why.
Hmm. Because you're not American.
Probably not. This whole midterm feels low energy. I mean, maybe. I'm kind of low energy at the moment. I
Well,
might.
it's called the midterm for a reason.
Hmm. Let me think. I should do maybe I'll do like oops, I unplugged my headset. There we go. I was debating either maybe I'll do a stream of me getting my ass kicked at StarCraft, or maybe I'll do a stream when the Brother War comes out, the next Magic set, because I've been looking forward to that. Anyways, guys, we'll just give it another minute or two, and then I might just wrap it up for the evening. So I have a couple other things I need to do. And it looks like everything's just going to take longer than I thought it was going to. So
Well, all legitimate elections take at least several weeks to process.
that's true. That's true. Um,
It does make me wonder how did they do the ballots or counting and say, when they elected George Washington, like who voted in that election? I know
uh,
he won unanimously, but
yeah, I don't know. Um, to be honest.
so how's Victoria 3 working out? Can you save again or
Yeah, I just had to disable like all of the mods. Um,
hmm. This
but
is why I think my favorite though of those is just Stellaris
mhm.
because I like the setting the most and the fact that since it's random since everyone kind of starts out, you know, isolated, you don't have the same borders every time.
Right.
It's the game that basically teaches you that planetary genocide is cool, kids.
Mhm. I actually I like to play as either a hive or mechanical and have the
Mm-hmm.
fanatic purifiers. Just because I find like diplomacy is shit in Stellaris anyways. So I'd rather just kill
Well,
everybody.
I play as the Kingdom of Prussia, so basically Russia, efficient bureaucracy, military warrior culture, um, fanatic militarist authoritarian, and just have a few races that I actually like incorporate into the empire, and then just conquer and kill everybody else.
Hmm. Well, everybody, I think I'm gonna turn in for the night. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great talking to you.
Okay, God bless, man. I'll talk to you again real soon.
See ya.
Okay, everybody. Well, I just want to say good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I'm just too tired tonight. I can't go through this whole thing. If this was a presidential election, we'd be here until like 3 in the morning, but I'm just too tired. So, God bless you all.